We communicate who we are through clothing. It is fundamentally a part of what we wish to communicate about ourselves.
The clothing you wear has a larger price tag than what you see when it's hanging on the rack. In recent years, researchers have devoted much attention to the sustainability issues facing the fashion industry.
We asked some group members questions about the clothes they were wearing and where they were sourced.
My jumper's from New Look and my jeans are from Topshop.
Hollister and River Island.
My top is from Zara and my jeans are from Topshop.
Yeah, I kind of have some awareness of where my clothes are from. This is from the UK and my jeans are from Turkey.
Not without checking, no.
No, I think my jeans are made in Egypt.
The top is from Vietnam and the jeans from Turkey.
My top is from Morocco. And yeah, my jeans are from Egypt.
Either if they're in good condition, I'll take them to a charity shop. If not, I'll recycle them.
In good condition to charity shop, but if not, just chuck them out.
Do you know them little bags they send you in the post? The little charity things, I put them outside the house.
The red stars on this map show where the majority of our clothes were sourced.
One of the issues to take into account when looking at sustainable fashion is sweatshops, which are largely fueled by consumer demand for low-priced fashion. In order to meet these demands, production is commonly outsourced to cheaper manufacturers, typically to countries in Asia, as we have seen from the previous map, but this is not exclusive to developing nations. Outsourcing can often involve questionable labour practices, which can include violation of wages, lack of health and safety precautions, child labour and other abuses such as forced overtime, as well as physical and even sexual harassment. Even within the UK, there are examples of people working long shifts, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, for just £3.50 an hour. However, there are examples of people working 14 to 16-hour days and earning less than £1, such as in Bangladesh. Despite a number of consumers intending to avoid sweatshop manufactured clothing, the lack of information available can result in people taking a gamble when purchasing clothes, no matter how good their intentions. Creating fashion requires vast amounts of energy and natural resources and often leaves much waste, all of which has effects on the environment. Firstly, through the production, dyeing and processing practices in the fashion industry. The use of chemical products and natural resources generate high environmental impacts. The use of fibres such as wool, cotton and synthetics have significant impacts. Cotton and wool require large quantities of water and pesticides, whereas synthetic fibres are extracted from non-renewable resources and require vast amounts of energy to produce. A case study in Bangladesh found that 1 tonne of cotton needs 65,000 kilowatt-hours of electricity and 250,000 litres of water. Most of the energy in Bangladesh is fired by coal and natural gases, adding to greenhouse gas emissions. The fashion industry has been deemed by many studies as waste couture. Much of the cotton produced in the United States is exported to China, for example, where the items are assembled. Thus, China has emerged as the largest exporter of fast fashion, accounting for 30% of the world's cloth exports, highlighting the environmental impact of emissions via transportation. Clothes are designed to fall apart. This is all part of the fast fashion culture, making clothes cheap and disposable due to their low quality. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, in 2013 around 15 tonnes of textiles were wasted, 12 tonnes of which went straight into landfill sites. The average American throws away over 68 pounds of textiles a year, unfortunately the majority of which is now made from petrol-based fibres that take decades to decompose. Nowadays, it only takes 3 weeks to launch a new style, whereas it previously took around 6 months. There are now up to 15 fashion seasons a year, instead of just 4. The term Primark effect has come around, which refers to the increasing quantity of clothes being discarded in the UK. Brands such as Abercrombie and Fitch, they allegedly burn any damaged or unsold clothes instead of donating them to charity shops. In the UK, each household on average owns around £4,000 worth of clothes, 30% of which have not been worn for at least a year. By using clothes for as little as 3 months more would cut down carbon and water footprints by 5 to 10%. In the UK alone, it is estimated that £140 million worth of clothes is dumped straight into landfill sites. The allowance of child sweatshops drastically increases the supply of unskilled workers in the labour market, which in fact drives down the wages for unskilled labour. In contrast, the neglect of education linked with child labour means that there is a deficit in supply of skilled labour, which increases wages for skilled jobs. In summary, child labour means lower wages for unskilled labour and higher wages for skilled labour. In a Western culture, clothes are not only a necessity for comfort, warmth and dignity, but are an important part of self-expression which can be used as a communication method. However, we have seen that the production and consumption are far from sustainable, requiring changes in all three pillars of sustainability. So what can be done? Retailers are taking varying steps to become more environmentally conscious and ethical. Tesco has begun investing money into producing a Sustainable Consumption Institute label, which will have the carbon emission footprint so consumers can easily identify which products are better for the environment, much like food labels. New Look has recently started paying Chinese factory workers a living wage and improving working conditions. As a consumer, shopping at environmentally and ethically conscious retailers can help. Consumers can also undertake the better rather than more approach to shopping. This would lead to a reduction in consumption as high-quality, longer-lasting items would be purchased instead. Buying more expensive items can also mean workers are paid a higher wage and the clothes are made in a less carbon-intensive way. Some may argue that consumers will drive the change for sustainable clothing, as retailers respond to consumer demands. There is still a considerable amount of changes that need to take place, that in an increasingly ethical and sustainable world, changes may not be too far in the future.